everyone, it's Dr. Danielle here for another episode of Feel Good Friday. I'm a mom, a physical therapist, rehab specialist, and I love to talk everything and anything shoulder. I am going to be talking about on my program today shoulder instability. So for the purposes of my videos, I try to keep it short and sweet. So we're just going to go into one type of shoulder instability, and that's called shoulder dislocation, or in subluxation is the big fancy word. That basically is saying that you have sustained an injury to your shoulder in which the upper part of your arm has come out of that cup-shaped socket that it sits in. So you could either have it partially out or completely out. It could go forward, backwards, or downwards. So you could have a dislocation in any one of those directions. The shoulder joint is so susceptible to being dislocated because it moves in various and several directions. So it's very mobile. One of the things that we noticed and studies have shown is that if you have had a dislocation in the past or repeated dislocations, you are more likely to re-injure that shoulder again. So I wanted to just go into some of the signs and symptoms. Who's more likely to sustain this type of injury, and what are your treatment options, and kind of go over it in concise form. So let's talk about what, if somebody has sustained a dislocated shoulder, what does that look like? First, if it's severe and significant, meaning complete or really out, it's gonna be visible. It's just it's gonna look like it's out of place. You're gonna have intense and significant amount of pain. You're gonna have swelling, bruising. You're gonna have numbness and tingling, either going up the neck or down the arm. You might be experiencing muscle spasms, which is basically an involuntary contraction of the muscles surrounding that shoulder. And the more likely people who usually end up with this kind of injury is males who are in their 20s. They're more athletic, and it takes a lot of force, guys, to dislocate a bone, like pull it out of its place. So one of the main common causes is sports injuries, more likely with contact sports such as football, hockey. Another way you could injure your shoulders from falls. So you could fall during a sports activity such as volleyball or gymnastics, and you could dislocate your shoulder also that way. Or you could fall off a ladder or trip and fall on an outstretched arm, and you can sustain it that way as well. You could also have a trauma that's not related to a fall or not related to sports, such as a really bad car accident in which the impact has caused your shoulder to dislocate. So what are the treatment options? First of all, if you think your shoulder might be dislocated based on any of those symptoms that I mentioned earlier, that's a medical attention. That's important to get medical attention at that point. You don't want to try to put that shoulder back in place without medical attention, because you can actually cause more harm than good. You have nerves, blood vessels, ligaments, tendons, all surrounding that joint to keep that the bone in place. So if you move it the wrong way, you could cause more damage to those structures. You also want to ice right away. You want to prevent, keep the pain down, keep the fluid increase around the joint, keep that to a minimum. You want to reduce any kind of internal bleeding, so ice is like your go-to thing right away. You also want to keep the arm stable, either in a sling or immobilize it as much as you can until you get medical attention. Obviously, there is a spectrum for this, so it can be partially or completely. Surgery is usually indicated depending on how severe the dislocation was and how many structures were damaged in the process. So you might need surgery to repair some of those structures, as well as it might not have been so bad, so you could immobilize it for a little while, few weeks, and then transition into rehab physical therapy, in which we would strengthen the muscles that surrounds the joint, the shoulder joint itself. So how do you prevent this? One, you try to avoid falls. You want to, if you have poor balance, don't climb up on a ladder, guys. Like, this is putting yourself at increased risk to fall off that ladder. If you do play sports, you want to make sure that you have protective gear on during these sports to prevent, direct trauma or impact on the shoulder. And you want to exercise regularly. You want to make sure that those muscles that are surrounding your shoulder are nice and strong, and the structures are flexible. What needs to be flexible is flexible. What needs to be strong gets strengthened. So those are just like little informational tidbits that I want to talk about regarding dislocated shoulder, instability of your shoulder. Obviously, there's other reasons, like you can have deformity of your shoulder that just makes your shoulder more loose than others, but we'll get into that probably on another video. So for purposes of this video, keeping it short, if you have any questions or concerns, obviously if you're in severe pain or you felt your shoulder give out, you need to make sure you get medical attention right away. Guys, I want to keep it short again, so any questions or concerns, feel free to drop me a line in the comment section. Share this video out. This is a little bit longer than I normally go, but it's because it's so much more information. But please feel free to share this out and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Have a great one, everybody, and see you next Friday.